The title of our research for this video is language processors such as compiler and assembler. We will explain the mechanism of action of each of them, what is the differences between them, and correct some misconceptions. So let's start with the definition. Language processor is a software program designed or used to perform tasks such as processing program code to machine code. Language processors are found in languages such as Fortran and COBOL. They are one of the first programming languages to be used. I will make a certain video to talk about them. Now let's start with compiler. It's converting the source code written by the programmer to a machine language to create an executable program. As you see here, it shows a code written on Java. The compiler will convert it to machine language, and as you see, is composed of digital binary numbers, and it's read by the CPU. That will lead us to the definition of the compiler. The compiler is a computer program that translates computer code written in one programming language, which is the source language, into another language, which is an executable machine code that the CPU can read. Then let's talk about the assembler. Assembler basically converts the assembly code into the machine code. Here, as you see, is a sample of an assembly code that does something. The assembler will convert it to the machine language, which is, as we know, is composed of digital binary numbers that the CPU can read. Finally, the definition of assembler. The assembler is used to translate the program written in assembly language into machine code. You may feel upset about some misconceptions about the compiler and the assembler. I will make it clear for you by writing a code on Word and compile it using the CMD, then writing an assembly code and compile it to see the result. I am Ahmad Akel and I'm passionate about programming and technology. Thank you to be here, and now let's move on to the next section. Here I will paste a Java code that print hello world and the channel name. Then let's save it on the desktop and give it a name, then save it as plain text, and don't forget to check MS-DOS and allow character substitution and click OK. The weird thing, you can't give the file Java suffix from the first time, so you have to save it again with Java suffix and save it on the same way with plain text and check the MS-DOS and allow character substitution again. Click OK and go to the CMD. In order to execute the Java code, you have to install the GTK, which is Java Development Tools, on your machine to be able to compile Java code that we have. And here's the idea that I wanted to clarify by writing the code in Word, in order to prove that the compiler is not the editor when we write the code, but rather the compiler is the program that translates the code from programming language into a machine language in order to execute it. Let's type javac to compile the code. Then type Java with the file name to execute the file as well. And here we go. See the result. And let's type Maria.js on your browser, and here you can compile your assembly code online. Basically, assembly language is a type of low-level programming language that is intended to communicate directly with computers' hardware. Unlike machine language, which consists of binary and hexadecimal characters, assembly languages are designed to be readable by humans. Here I paste an assembly code which sums two numbers, and as you see, here's the comments of each instruction and what does each one of them. And here's the variables that we used on the code up there. So let's run the program, type the first value, continue running, type the second value, and continue running, and here it will print the result. And as you see here, when you finish the program, it will show us the result in decimal, it's 12. Now here is the watch list for each floor. Finally, you can see here the machine language that the assembler translated the assembly language to. Thank you for watching.